You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same.
All right, folks, good evening. It is Thursday. We are live right now on KLRNradio.com. You are listening to Jen and Rick, and I am one half of the crew. I'm not Jen, so obviously I'm Rick. She's Jen. She's here. We're live, and just a bit of a programming note before we get started, because the show did get a late start, and because I am been dealing with getting a new curriculum together at the day job. I'll get paid to talk, can't seem to pull it off. There will not be an America Off the Rails tonight. I will do my best to start getting back to full-time schedule starting next week, but in between allergies and new duties at work again and everything else that have been going on, plus middle of month numbers that I have to deal with. Yeah, I work at a call center, so some of you feel my pain, others of you are laughing, I don't care. So anyway, how are you tonight, Jen?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. I have thoroughly enjoyed the mayhem on Twitter today. I know sometimes when it's crazy, we are perplexed by it, and we get kind of frustrated with it. I actually enjoyed it today because, certain people, I like to say, let the sun shine on, right? So they expose themselves. They did what they did, and all I'm going to do is sit back and say, let that sun shine on them. You know, that whole thing about sunlight and cockroaches and weeding out filth and all of that kind of thing. Yeah, they did it today. The liberals really went after it today, and we didn't even have to say a damn thing. All we had to do was just let that sunlight shine.
I mean, they've lost their collective minds. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's not just today. It's been going on all week. As soon as Donald Trump moved the embassy to Israel, man, they just went nuts. All of a sudden, Hamas is a bunch of Girl Scouts. The NRA is a terrorist group. MS-13 is a bunch of disenfranchised, undocumented immigrants. They've lost their minds.
Yeah, no, they really have. I mean, when you are brought down to the point of defending absolutely horrific, murderous, evil groups such as Hamas and MS-13, the gang that is has actually spread all. It used to be more of a West Coast gang. And it has spread throughout all of the U.S. under the 8 years of Obama. And I'm not going to blame Obama for that, because I don't like it when people arbitrarily ascribe blame to a president over something that really that was not in their control. However, it was when he was in power. So in the Obama years, MS-13 kind of was able to spread and gravitate all throughout the United States. And when you are going to say that those kinds of groups, regimes, whatever, Hamas, MS-13, are, and you're going to sit there and defend them because you hate the President of the United States so much that when he was asked a question about MS-13, this is a gang that cuts people's hearts out live, decapitates people, rapes little girls, and kidnaps babies. He said they are animals. And when you are so Trump derangement syndrome oriented that you feel the need to defend a group like that and counter the president on this, I don't even know what to do with you. You're an awful human being.
The basic truth of it is they've pretty much proven that they're awful human beings. Look, here's the thing. This is the left's point of view right now. They hate Donald Trump so much because of his perceived evil that they are embracing actual evil to defeat someone who hasn't even been proven to be evil. I don't understand the whole concept because, look, again, you and I have had this conversation before. I've never been a huge Trump fan. I didn't vote for him either time. I've been basically looking at everything glass half full, glass half empty approach, giving him credit where credit's due, slamming him when it's not. But overall, I can't really find anything policy-wise that I'm upset with him about. Not when it really comes down to brass tacks. I mean, there have been some things that he's tried to do that may or may not have worked. I mean, the North Koreans are back to talking tough again. We'll see how long that actually lasts, though.
Well, here's the thing, Rick. You like me. You and I are very alike in this way, in which our natural instinct is not to fawn over this politician. Not to be in agreement with this president even. Like, our natural instinct is what we had from the get-go, which was we didn't want him to be the option, and we didn't want him to get nominated, and we didn't want him to get elected. And not to the detriment of Hillary being elected. I just mean in the grand scheme of things of other people that could have been elected, we were bitter about it. We were not happy with this being the choice that Republicans had. And in all fairness, that Republicans made. Republicans voted for this man to be in the position to ever be voted into the presidency. So it was on the right, at least the Republican right, if not the conservative, libertarian, XYZ right. So you and I are similar in that it's not our instinct to just go along with and support or defend or just blindly do whatever and go with whatever the president does. This is one of those cases where you and I are both sitting here going, oh, the left is turning themselves into a parody. They are having to defend. Whereas you and I often say, you are making me defend Trump. And our good friend Orty says this a lot. Quit making me defend Trump to the media. Well, this is a case where the media has decided they have to defend Hamas or they have to defend MS-13. And it's really rather insane psychologically that they even think that they could, even on the very basic level, remotely have a reason to defend these people. And they've been invoking women, invoking children, and saying, oh, they're killing women and children. They're doing this to them. No, they are purposely defending criminal entities in order to oppose the president. And that is bat bleep crazy to me.
Yeah, pretty much to me too. All right, I have to read this because I love this, because every once in a while I will go onto his timeline and he does this pretty much every day, and I always mean to go back and read it and I never do. So I'm going to do that today. This is from Gay Patriots timeline from 8 hours ago. Day 482 of the Trump administration, and I'm still not in a gay concentration camp or being electrocuted by Mike Pence. I love him.
Yes, I know, I do too. And Chad Felix Green, you can find him on Twitter at Chad Felix Green. He does similar things. He's like, how many days have I got? I married my husband while Trump was president. I am living my best life. I am able to do all of these things. And somehow I am told that Trump is to the detriment of my sexuality, my life, the way I choose to be. And I am going to be, forever hurt and deterred by this man being president. He's like, I'm living my best life. I got married to my best friend and my love of my life and my partner. And how again am I being hurt by the Trump presidency? I don't know. Maybe you can make up some reasons. And then people do. I mean, they really do. He has this whole thing. He's a gay Jewish man, Chad Felix says. And he has this he writes for Misfits sometimes. He's also written for HuffPo. And they actually took down all of his opinion pieces. They used to publish them, and then he got a notice, and they took them all down because basically he was a right-leaning Jewish gay man, and he wasn't following the narrative, and they labeled some of his pieces as hateful. So this is where we are, and that so totally sucks, because I think that something like the Huffington Post could really benefit from having a voice like his. Yeah, we put it on Misfits, and he could probably get on Red State the Resurgent, Town Hall, whatever else, but we'd all be so welcoming of it. It's when they can't any longer get a voice on a place that they statistically should be able to, by their race, religion, or sexuality, should be able to get a place to speak. But by their politics, they are not able to get a place to speak. When those places stop hosting people like Chad, I think it's a real detriment to free thought, really, and open discussion. And I think he brought a lot to the plate. And I think other editors, to be fair, I think a lot of editors on that site thought he did as well, which is why they hosted him as long as they did. And then the directive came down for one simple reason, which was like no hate speech, and all conservative speech or anything counter to their very progressive culture was hate speech. And so it got shut down. I really don't think it was the multitude of various people that looked at this and saw it and decided to publish him. And some of them did speak out and say that they were not happy with the decision, which I think is really awesome. But, this is what we go through, right? Gay Patriot, Chad Felix, they are not the norm when it comes to conservatives, and they get the boot from progressives the second they stray from the typical thought process.
No, I mean, they completely do. And I mean, that's the thing that drives me crazy. Like, Dan and I have a prime example. We didn't make it to CPAC this last round, but the year before we actually went and we were there together. Well, during one of the times when I was off to grab lunch while he was working on some of the interviews, because we were kind of doing things in shifts, I came back and he was actually beginning to sit down and do an interview with 4 transgendered women. They were sitting down and they were talking about the fact that they had recently been to the DNC and that they didn't feel comfortable in the DNC meeting, that people were, glaring at them and staring at them. She says, despite everything the media says about you guys have been the most warm and inviting people. There hasn't been a single person that's looked at us like we were weird. They've come up, they've talked to us, they've listened to our stories. You're like the 15th interview that we've given. And we don't understand what's going on with the media, because you guys are the ones that are painted to use Donald Trump's term. You guys are the ones that are painted to look like these animals. And it turns out that we felt more at home it wasn't the DNC. It was a Democratic version of the same thing as the CPAC meeting. But anyway, so they basically said we were made to feel more at home here than we were in the people that say that they support us. In the group with the people that say they support us, you guys made us feel more comfortable than they did. And to me, that just speaks volumes because, I run into this all the time. I have gay friends, and I'm like, look, I don't care that you're gay. What I care about is I really don't want to have to bake you a cake if I don't want to bake you a cake. Personally, I wouldn't care. I'd bake you a cake. But I don't want you guys forcing people to do things that they don't want to do. And
I think most people would, right? Most people would. But there is the one or two places that go, you know what, no, I just won't do that. And they should have the right to say that. That's okay. Because you have 15 others that are going to go, well, I don't really care. Even if I am really religious, I don't really care. I'm going to do this, and I want you to be happy, and I'm going to make this cake for you to commemorate your day, whatever it is. I just experienced this recently with this. I got quite a lot of attention on Twitter from my little show I had recently. Well, it wasn't my show, but I was the venue coordinator, and it was hosted by my venue, at my venue, for this art erotica art show that benefited AIDS and the AIDS services. And what that means is like people that end up having flare-ups and whatnot, and they need to go get emergency help. And this organization, this charity, helps them pay for their emergency room visits and whatnot. And that's all awesome. Like, it really is great. But this whole show, like it's called Art Erotica, it is very erotic. And I was posting stuff on Twitter, like being silly, like, okay, here's this. Is this art? And what is this? And oh my gosh, look at this and whatever. And we all had a good time with it. But suffice it to say that any one of us, or at least every conservative I know, and most of the radio show hosts I know, would be there for people in need in a second, would consider these people absolute equals and 100% worthy of our compassion, attention, funds even for whatever it is they have going on. And that was the real point to me of what I saw, was a lot of different people coming together to be charitable towards a certain cause, that when someone is in need, they get it. They get that help. And when we dumb it down to, and I had so many people who responded, oh, who was forced to bake that cake? Which Christian had to make that cake? Blah, blah. No, it actually is a Christian baking company. But they donated their time. They donated their cake to this, and they made a giant penis. Sorry, there's not anywhere else to sugarcoat it. But they made a giant penis with like flowers around it and whatever, and they donated their product basically. And I think that that's a lot more the norm than what people, especially on the left, want to think of the right or Christian businesses or whatever else. And I think when there is a good cause to come of something, a lot of people come together no matter what they feel or believe. And that is a positive in this world. And they wish to continue to divide us instead of capitalizing on that kind of thing.
No, even what's going on right now, the media, and they're spinning and they're carrying water for Hamas and MS-13 and all the other things that they've been doing now for months. That isn't about bringing anybody any type of truth. That's about being motivated to get clicks, but there's an undertone to it that nobody's talking about. Look at how divided Twitter has been all day today. Look at how divided everything stays anymore. That is the goal. They want us fighting with each other. They want us arguing with each other. They want us calling each other morons. They want everybody to be screaming and yelling at each other and saying, you're missing the damn point because these people really are animals. Because when we're fighting with each other, we're not paying attention to what else is going on. And that's important.
Oh, I totally agree. I think that is for the very manipulative side of people in politics. That is absolutely the goal. That is the thing, right? How better to divide and alienate so many people in this population than to make everything a dramatic political deal, even things that would normally be united upon by all Americans.
I mean, like, seriously. I mean, and this is, I had an argument with a liberal friend of mine today who basically pointed out, well, even if you don't like what he said, he did specifically say that those people were animals, and he didn't specify which people he was referring to. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. If you listen to the tape, he was specifically answering right after a reporter asked him specifically about MS-13, and he said, these people are animals. I'm glad that we're getting him out of here as fast as we are because they're animals. That's
what a direct answer to a question. It was a direct answer to a very direct question. And anybody that wants to characterize it as something other than that is intellectually dishonest. I'm sorry, but that was absolutely answered in a way and to a point that was very specific. And they have done their to make sure that all the American people think that he means all brown people. It was 100% a very specific response to a very specific question, and shame on all of them who have acted differently or represented it differently.
I mean, I don't understand what they hope to gain there other than, well, we're just going to do everything. I mean, it's all about the narrative now. The simple fact of the matter is the media hates Trump because the media deposed their queen because they wanted all hail Queen Hillary. They didn't get all hail Queen Hillary, so now they're like, we have to do everything we can to destroy this man. What I really don't understand is they seem to like Mike Pence even less than they like Donald Trump. I don't think they understand that if they get their wish and somehow Donald Trump is removed from office, we're going to have President Mike Pence. I don't know, but President Michael R. Pence kind of has a nice ring.
Well, they think that they're going to get a do-over. I mean, so many have said as such. Like, they really think they get a do-over if Trump gets impeached. And that is so far from true. And why?
Uh-oh, I'm losing you. Are you still there? Oh, there you are. I think I hear you again. All right. No, it's all right. You're back now. You've been kind of cutting out here and there, but you've been staying stable enough where I could at least still hear you. But that time you were gone for like 10 seconds.
Well, what I was just saying was that I think that they are disillusioned in the fact that not only Mike Pence, but that the chain that it has to go through to get to a Democrat being in the Oval Office is far longer than they wish to care for or admit. So, and a lot of them don't even know. I mean, it goes from Republican to Republican to Republican before it ever gets to a Democrat being in that Oval Office. And you'd have to indict and impeach all of them before you get to that place. And so whatever their goal is, I don't think they've really thought it through, is my point.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they haven't because, I mean, let's pretend for a moment that there was a way to set aside an election, which in our government there's not. There's no procedure in place for suddenly deciding that an election is invalid. Our Constitution doesn't have anything like that. But let's assume for the moment that it did. Then all that would do was remove Pence and Trump from office, and then we would have President Eddie Munster, which I wouldn't be looking forward to. Just saying.
No, that's so funny. No, I mean, it's so true, though. Like, they have not adequately thought this through. And so let's say this Mueller thing goes through and Trump is indicted and he is impeached. I mean, they think Pence is the devil that is out to get all the gays, right? Well, he'd be president. And for myself, I'd like it a lot. I'd like it a lot if he was president, but they would not, and they think that he wants to put the gays in concentration camps. So, maybe think this through a little bit about impeaching Trump.
Yeah, so one thing I want to backtrack to, because, there's been another announcement this week. The Mueller camp has apparently announced that they have no intention of indicting President Donald Trump. The simple fact of the matter is they can't indict Donald Trump. There's no precedent for indicting a sitting president. That's why we have an impeachment process. And if there's anything that can be basically considered to the point where he could face indictment, that's when they start the impeachment process. If he then gets impeached and then gets voted to be removed, at that point he can face indictment as a private citizen. But as a sitting president, he cannot face criminal indictment. And that's what Mueller was saying yesterday when all of this came out, was, there's no grounds for us to indict Trump because they don't have any legal grounds to do so. Now, that I honestly, I don't know if this has more to do with the fact that I keep hearing rumblings that the IG report's coming out soon. And I have a feeling that's why the New York Times put out their article today that tried to do all the spinning of all the things to make the FBI DOJ thing look more palatable to the people that are buying the narrative over there, and I'm still not. So I don't know if they're afraid that that's about to finally break, so they're trying to deflect from it. I don't know if Mueller thinks, well, if we tell Trump we can't indict him because we can't, maybe he'll relax and do something stupid, or we'll find something else that we can get him on once he realizes that we can't really do anything criminally to him until after he gets impeached. I mean, I don't even understand why this is still going on at this point. This has been going on for a year in the information age. A year in the information age is like 5 years in any other point in history. If there was something there, they would have already been able to find it. We now know from, I found 6 different sources today, 6, that confirm the fact that there was a human intelligence agent as an informant inside the Trump campaign as early as some point in 2016. That means the FBI had somebody spying for them within the campaign. They were planted in there. If there was something that they could have proven, they would have been able to do it well before now. I'm just saying. And I could be wrong.
Also, by the way, before that means that they were implanting that and spying on a candidate for the American presidency, and then, constituents or otherwise people that would be supporting this campaign for presidency that we typically do not allow as lawful. So, yeah, it speaks not badly on the Trump campaign. It speaks badly towards the FBI. It speaks badly towards the American system. It speaks badly towards our intelligence community. And if it were to come out that similar type thing was happening with Hillary, okay, then we could have an argument about whether that was just like what needs to happen and needs to be done in order to vet out these candidates and vet out these campaigns. Sure. Okay, we could have that discussion. But as of yet, we have not heard that has been the same on the other side. So, yeah, WTF. It's a huge flag.
I mean, here's the thing with it, though. Everybody keeps trying to spin it the other way, and they're like, well, with what Papadopoulos said to the drunk dude from Australia, that was why the FBI put or when he was drunk, when he was talking to the dude with Australia, that's why the FBI put somebody in there, and it all started from there. But the thing about it is, depending on where you go and where you look, and if you dig, you're going to find about 16 different reasons why this supposed Trump investigation started. None of the reports that I can find say the exact same thing in the exact same order. The other thing that nobody's talking about is this Australian politician that supposedly got blabbed to by this drunk Papadopoulos that up until 35 seconds ago, nobody even knew who the hell this kid was or that he was even part of the Trump campaign, has huge ties to Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. So I say consider the source.
Well, so beyond that, we're talking about a lot of factors here, which may or may not be legal. And maybe they're legal in everyday life, but they're not legal for a political campaign, or maybe they're not legal for a presidential campaign, or any way, which way, whatnot, whatever. There are a lot of legal questions. to be examined. And pretending like that's not the case is either A, extremely biased, or B, very intellectually ignorant. And we have heard time and time again about how X, Y, and Z from the Obama administration was totally fine, and similar things done on this side of things with the Republican candidate and Republican nominee, that it was not fine. And this is just further proof that the political news media has sat on their laurels for several years. They have sat there and they have been eating up everything the Democratic president and his administration told them. They have been happy to believe it. They've been happy to report it. And now that's gone, and they are happy to not report it. They are happy to go against it. They're happy to get insane about every little thing said, every little thing that comes out. And it's super exposing. And as much as so many people don't notice, a lot of us do notice. Even people that lean left. I have a lot of really good friends that are absolutely progressive that have very much noticed the change in tone from reporting on the Obama presidency and administration versus the Trump presidency and administration. And they don't like to have to say it, but they are good and honest and fair people, so they do. And they say, this is a bunch of bull honky, the way that this is being portrayed versus what something happened with Obama's ears is being portrayed. And also just in general, the everyday reporting. They notice the difference. And it's like, okay, well, you want to say what you want to about CNN and Fox News and this and that, whatever. But legitimately for 8 years, like, the bulk of the media had Obama's back. And
his
in
back,
the day
his
and
front,
age,
both sides. I mean, it wasn't, they didn't just have his back; they were covering him from all sides. So just a point of order here, because something just occurred to me. Because all of these things that we keep seeing coming out are talking about the fact that the FBI was involved in this in 2016, which would have put some of this to have begun happening around probably the debate timetables. So the reason that becomes important is I seem to remember a certain candidate, Donald Trump, talking about the fact that he was afraid that there was going to be some sort of rigging of the election, and how Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama both laughed off even the suggestion of that. And basically Hillary made the comment of, you're just doing this so you can have your followers light stuff on fire and break things when you lose. But here's the thing. At this point in time, apparently the DOJ, the FBI, and the Obama administration all knew that there was some sort of a credible attempt to undermine our election process, and yet Barack Obama laughed it off and said there was no way that the Russians could even impact or anywhere near think about in any way affecting our election process. All at the same time while apparently having someone inside the Trump campaign to try to prove that they were in fact trying to hamper our election process.
no, right? It's actually pretty insane.
I mean, it's like right now, I have this guy on my timeline who I've never seen before, who keeps arguing with me because I keep using the phrase collusion isn't a crime. And he's like, well, when they say collusion, what they actually mean is conspiracy. I said, dude, the director of the FBI used the word collusion a million times. I'm sure the director of the FBI knows that if he meant conspiracy, he probably would have been saying conspiracy. These people don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Yes, conspiracy would be something that they might be able to look into, but that's not the word that they're calling it. They have called this thing collusion from day one, and I keep saying this doesn't make any sense, because collusion, the only time that phrase is even mentioned in any type of legal term is in antitrust laws. Collusion is when two companies get together and try to fix prices, like what's going on with like the tuna thing right now. So that's collusion. What's going on with our elections? Not collusion. Conspiracy, maybe. But the FBI director, he's the FBI director. So I'm sure if he meant conspiracy, he would have said conspiracy, not collusion. So why are they using a word that doesn't technically exist in the context they're using it? Because this has all been smokescreen and obfuscation from day one. Because I'm telling you, and I've said this on America Off the Rails, the one thing that Donald Trump has managed to do that none of us realized he was going to do was wake up the American people to a soft coup they didn't even realize was happening. Everything that they find that tries to point back to Donald Trump, there's some sort of insidious, twisted way that it all goes back to Hillary Clinton. Starting again with the guy from Australia, who was the person that they took the original affidavit from, who said Papadopoulos told me this when he was drunk, and then Papadopoulos said, yeah, I kind of really did say that. And that's how all of this supposedly got started. But then it started from the Trump, or it started from the dossier, or it started because of this, or it started because of that. And it all goes back to the same thing. 6 ways from Sunday, no matter how many times you look at this, no matter how many different angles you look at it from, this all comes back to a way for a sitting president to protect the candidate that he wanted in office because he made a promise to Bill Clinton that this was going to be her turn. Those two families don't even like each other. And Barack Obama did everything that he could to try to make sure Hillary Clinton became president, including violating several federal statutes to make sure it happened, and it didn't. I'm just saying.
I mean, so the thing here is that it's kind of amazing, right? They really did not like each other. He did not want, reportedly, they did not agree or want one or the other to be the nominee way back in 2008, sorry. And but then here the Obamas are put in the position of support Hillary or die, right? Like they are put in the position of you have to support this Clinton because of what else is going on and what has previously gone on, that they have to just buck up and take a stand with her. I don't think that's what either of them wanted or would have supported, and I don't think it's Bernie either. I don't think they would have supported Bernie also, but I think that they probably would have preferred there be another younger, more pliable option, maybe another Obama type, which the Democratic Party has some of, but they're not willing to prop them up yet because they have been given deference to these royalties. And so I think that the Obamas might have taken on a different stance had they been given the opportunity. But they weren't. So they had to go with Hillary. They had to go with the deal. They had to go with the Democrat. And it was easy to see how disingenuous they were in supporting her. And I think that actually resonated with a lot of people of the American public. And no one wants to talk about that, but I think that was a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and I'm going to say this again one more time. I only want to know the truth. If Donald Trump is guilty of something, I want to know what it is so that we can figure out how to get him charged for it and deal with it however we need to deal with it. But at the same time, every time I look into something, and let's not forget, folks, I spent 15 years as a private investigator. I don't have all the same accesses that I used to, but every trail that I follow points back to the Clintons. So when I tell you that when I'm looking into this, I'm not saying this as somebody that hasn't done this for a living. I actually used to do professional skip tracing. I've done divorce cases. I've done pretty much everything under the sun. On top of doing private security, private parties, executive protection, all of it. That's what I did for 15 years. So when I tell you that I have gone through this item by item, line by line, and everything that I can find, and no matter how hard I look, everything keeps pointing back to the Clintons and to the Obama administration, I'm not saying that lightly. I'm telling you that from what I know and from what I've been able to find out, I think we're looking at one of the biggest political scandals in history. And I don't know when it's going to break, but I think it's getting dangerously close to doing so, which is why the New York Times tried to fall on a grenade today, and it backfired, because all they did was inadvertently prove everything that I've been talking about now for months. Just saying.
No, I think you're right. I mean, it's become, I mean, the left has become a parody of itself, right? We say this often.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up. What was that last part?
I said the left has become a parody of itself. Like, we say this often. And it continues to produce that, to be so. It's so hard to ignore the way in which they cannot help but topple over themselves when it comes to some of these very basic topics.
Did I lose you, or did you mute again?
Uh-oh, I think we're having troubles.
Yeah, we seem to be starting to have technical difficulties again. Which is fine.
Well, we're almost done anyway.
I was going to say, we kind of skipped the break anyway, so we really have about, 5 or 6 minutes, but if we need to kill it now, that's fine. Because we didn't take a break, so it's not really that big of a deal. We got a late start, so I didn't make us take a break. Anything?
Well, I want to give a shout out. For last night's, like, y'all all go look it up. You can get on Spreaker and see FUBAR and the Conservative Curmudgeon. Go look up their crossover podcast that they did. It was the whole hour of FUBAR. It was half the hour of the Conservative Curmudgeon. It was wildly entertaining, and I just love these people so much. I love G and Orty and Sam, Glitta Bunny. They just did a fantastic job, and Rick produced it all and added his commentary a little bit here and there. And it was just such a great show, or 2 shows, I guess. And I would really encourage everybody to go take a listen, because I just had the best time. I actually got so, enthralled in listening to them live that I kind of screwed up Misfit Gift Challenge. And by that, I mean, I did it every 10 minutes instead of every 5 minutes. So it went on for 90 minutes that I did the Misfit Gift Challenge instead of the normal 60 minutes. And I'm not sorry about it. It was a good deal, and everyone had fun, and then a lot of people listened. And but if you missed it, go check it out. I would highly recommend it, and really appreciate it if you would support our friends.
Yeah, it was a blast. I love doing both of their shows because, I mean, they have such different flavors. And honestly, as much as I love doing my solo show, I've actually kind of gotten to the point where I kind of enjoy doing the co-hosted shows more and producing than I even have gotten to the point where I kind of enjoy doing my own show. I don't know and before anybody panics, no, I'm not getting rid of my solo show. I'm just saying, for me, it's kind of become more enjoyable. I think it's just because, I don't know, it just feels completely different. It's nice to be able to relax. When I'm on a mic and I'm doing all the talking, I don't really get a chance just to kind of sit down and absorb what everybody else is saying. So I kind of like being able to sit back and listen to other people and get their perspectives. And that's one of the reasons why I really, really enjoy producing. And it's why I do it for so many different people. I mean, I edit a bunch of different shows behind the scenes. I occasionally will edit for Michael Loftus when they ask me, and it's because I enjoy getting other people's perspectives, and it's really easy to do when you have to listen to the audience.
And I think this is something that, I don't think you say enough, and I don't think it's shown enough that you are the brains behind so many of the shows. And you really keep a lot of the spots on this station running, because you were behind the scenes, masterminding, producing all of these shows, and you don't give yourself near enough credit. And I know sometimes a lot of the show hosts are really good about it. Some of the show hosts are not that great about it. So I just want to say right here now that I know that you are doing a lot, and you are not always giving yourself enough credit, and they are not giving you enough credit for all that you do for Kayla and the shows that are hosted here and even elsewhere, like Foo Bar.
Yeah, I'm not one of those big give myself credit guys. I just kind of do what I do and let everybody else figure it out on their own. All right, so anyway, I think we're about to wrap because we've got about 2 minutes left to the top of the hour anyway. Why don't you remind folks where it is that they can hang out with you when you're not on the air hanging out with me?
Okay, I am on Twitter at JHomestead, Facebook JR Homestead, and please check out MisfitsPolitics.com. We did Misfit Gift Challenge last night, version. But we will do the Misfit Mischief tomorrow night, which is always just like random silly stuff from around the days and even other random things like Edie's hairdos. So come join that, but also even though he keeps shying away from it, give big props to Rick for all he does for this station and many of the shows. We appreciate you, Rick. You rock.
I appreciate it, too. Speaking of appreciation, thank you, Misfits. I haven't died during Misfit Gift Challenge for like 2 months. I appreciate that.
That actually cracks me up because I haven't done one of those in a little bit. But you know what? You maybe just inspired me to. And I think you're going to die, Rick.
That's all right. I die all the time. Anytime there's one of those things with an R in it, and if that's a murder victim, I'm toast. I already know it. That's all right. I just kind of enjoy playing along with it anyway. So honestly, as much as I talk crap about it, I'm kind of one of those people. I kind of do a whose line is it anyway version of Twitter sometimes. Basically, just do a whole improv based on who's saying what. So it usually turns out pretty fun. Anyway, on that note, we are going to get out of here. Again, unfortunately, due to work schedule conflicts and all kinds of other things that have been going on, I did not have a chance to prep a show tonight. So I will be back with you guys tomorrow night for Robinson and Wright. And I'll do my best to actually get things back to full speed next week. There's been some weather issues and a few other things that have made this week kind of crazy. As you can hear, Jen and I have been having some internet issues tonight. That's partly because we had a storm the other day, and every once in a while things still go a little crazy. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Friday Eve. That's right, tomorrow's Friday. Take care. God bless. I will see you tomorrow. And good night to everybody. And Jen, it's been a blast. I will see you on Tuesday. Unless I see you on Twitter first, that is.